and his ex-student Dr. Sanjay Gambhir. And we also requested Professor Shantanu Roy and our head Professor Anil Saroha to speak about the life and legacy of Professor Subbarao at our department and how he mentored students and how one should pursue PhD studies in the department and what are the opportunities available in the department at that time and going back in the history and now what are the things available now and how things have changed. So this is like a family get together to understand how things are enabled in the department, the environment which is really so open and so friendly for all of us to conduct research. This is really overwhelming contribution from the people who have worked in the department for so many years. So this is a really good time. Unfortunately, we could not do it physically because still the restrictions are on. Otherwise, it would have been nice to do it physically at some place that we could meet and have a cup of tea and enjoy and understand these contributions to connect back with the history and look forward in the future. So I feel very excited when I look at Professor Subba Rao's work. He he joined in 70s, and I was not born at that time. And when he was retired, I was in high school. So from IIT Delhi, I'm talking about. And when he probably retired from Malaysia, uh, I was I was in undergrad. So for me, it's looking at like a father figure and who uh, has done so much work in the department, contributed in undergraduate teaching, and also at research and training people. And probably Dr. Sanjay will explain us more about his contributions. So I would like to start with Professor Anil Saroha, our head of the department, because he has seen more as a PhD student, Professor Subbarao's work, and also as the faculty colleague, and now as the head of the department to introduce us about Professor Subbarao's work at the department. So I would request Professor Anil Saroha to please shows us some light on the work done here by. Thank
Uh, Thanks, Professor Heather, for your kind words. Respected Subbarao sir, Dr. Sanjay Gambhir, who did his PhD with Professor Subbarao and currently an alumni of our department, my very esteemed faculty colleagues, and dear students. As you have been briefed by Professor Heather, that Professor D. Subbarao was a faculty in our department from 1971 to 2006. And he was also head of our chemical engineering department from 1993 to 1996. And he has constituted an award, Subbarao Award for Excellence in Research in Chemical Engineering for the PhD students. So I would like to thank Professor Subbarao sir for constituting this award. And I am certain this award will further motivate the students to continue performing high quality research. And I personally feel that our research that should be basically directed to develop sustainable technical solutions to some of the major challenges currently facing the society. And these challenges can be environment and climate change, bridging the gap between energy demand and supply. We are witnessing, you can say, the cost of crude is today it has gone up to around $80 per barrel, and this is expected to increase in the near future also, maybe next 1 or 2 months. Petrol in India is more than 100 rupees a liter. Diesel is about 90 rupees. So we are not able to provide the energy which is needed. So we have to bridge this gap between energy demand and supply. Then we have the challenges in healthcare and food. And starting with I will take just 2-3 minutes. This climate change, because by 30th of September, it was expected that the monsoon will retreat, but still it is continuing. There is a change in the pattern of the seasons, and moreover, you can say the weather changes are extreme. So we are now continuously witnessing this extreme weathers. The global temperatures and sea levels are continuously rising, and there is a perception, I think, that at the current rate of rise in the sea level due to this global warming, even part of our Mumbai will be submerged in the near future. So this is all due to this global warming. And coming back to this climate change and global warming, this is all due to this human induced climate change, which includes, as I said, global warming, and the main reason for this global warming is emissions of this greenhouse gases, and this increasing emissions of carbon dioxide into atmosphere. This is again one of the key factors for contributing to the climate change. And in order to counteract this climate change and reduce this carbon dioxide emissions, we need to, you can say, switch to we need to switch our energy consumption to renewable energy sources such as wind, solar, and biomass. And this fuel cells, energy storage devices, they can be some of the elements of transition to green energy and independence from this fuel cells. And regarding this global warming, it is expected that this global warming could lead to about 2.8 degrees centigrade by the end of this century. And I think in this Paris Agreement, which was signed in 2015, this limiting this warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade would require halving these emissions by 2030 and achieving near zero or net zero emissions by 2050. So this change of fuels to renewables and this wind, solar, and biomass, and then these fuel cells and energy storage devices, they are, you can say, the strong contenders for the future for energy requirements. And further, hydrogen, this will be, I think, a game-changing player to achieve this net zero emissions or near zero emissions, as it does not emit greenhouse gases like in the fossil fuels, and we have carbon, so we have partial combustion or complete combustion gives you CO or CO2. But in case of hydrogen as a fuel, we will not have this generation of carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide for emission into the atmosphere. So apart from this renewable energy and this battery storage system, hydrogen is emerging as a strong contender of clean energy transition. And if you remember, about 2 months back, our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, he, while addressing the Independence Day from the ramparts of the Red Fort, he launched this national hydrogen mission. And our department is also like to start this working on this national mission project in the very near future. And therefore, I will request you all to be a part of this national mission project, and in this way we can contribute to a society also. And just to conclude, because there are so many things, but this is energy, bridging the gap between demand and supply. This is one of the main factors, and I wanted to emphasize on this. And just to conclude, this research and innovation, this play a major role in this advancement of technology. And if I remember correctly, I think in 1987, one gentleman, I forgot, I think Shomalov, he got the Nobel Prize in economics. And what was his contribution was, I think, that the source of growth of an economy, national economy, is the advancement in the technologies. And this advancement in the technology, this is very true in case of our process industries, chemical industries, because nowadays we are, you can say, entering into this high temperature, high pressure systems. We are going for exotic chemistries. We are going for, you can say, highly catalytic reactions, more fast reactions, and all these things. So we need, you can say, much faster technological advancements. So this research and innovation, they play a major role in this advancement of technology. And our focus should be on technical scientific research, which contributes to the development of society. And our endeavor should be that our chemical engineering department, it becomes a international destination for technological development through education, research, innovation, and scientific consultancy. And I sincerely hope that the constitution of this Subara Award for Research in Excellence in Chemical Engineering, this will further motivate the students to achieve these goals. And as Professor Haider mentioned, that I was a student at that time. Then I worked with him as a colleague, and then in 2006, Subarao took voluntary retirement and went to Malaysia. So just I will take a minute or two. As I mentioned earlier, that Professor Subbarao, who was our head of department from 1993 to 1996, and I was also a PhD student in the department during that time. And the major part of my PhD studies, he was the head of department, so we have to go through him. And so I still remember we used to have very long discussions. No doubt these discussions were limited to the corridors of the department. So we used to discuss new initiatives to be implemented. And hello? Yes. So we used to discuss how we can, you can say, bring some, you can say, changes in the research in the department. And if I remember correctly, in one of our discussion in the corridors, we thought that we should start this seminar by the PhD students once in every semester. I still remember this was started at that time only. that each PhD student will deliver a seminar once in a semester, and it was made mandatory that all the research students will attend that seminar. And I still remember when we had the first seminar, because at that time there used to be only about not more than 15, less than 15 PhD students at that time. And we thought that we should also invite the faculty members for these seminars, and we requested them to, you can say, make presentations. And I still remember Professor Bhaskar was the first faculty to deliver the seminar in this series of lectures. And we had one faculty seminar, and then the seminar by the students. And the logic behind these seminars was that we used to discuss with Professor Subbarao that what was the, you can say, the brain behind this starting this seminar, taking this initiative, was that the PhD student, he is generally busy with his guide only, with his supervisor only, during his discussions, during his, you can say, discussing the results and all this. So whenever he presents before the departments, some suggestion can come from any quarter. भाई इसको ऐसे करके देख लो, इसको ऐसे करके देख लो क्या होता है. So which may not come to you, the mind of the supervisor. So the suggestion can come from anywhere in the department. That was the first thing. The second objective was whenever a PhD student goes for a job interview, the first thing they ask is, please tell me about what you have done in your PhD. So at least the student should be able to tell that this is what I have done during my PhD. The third objective was that you can say, in this way there will be pressure on the student that yes, he has to deliver a seminar, he will improve his communication skills by delivering the seminars. Others in the department will also come to know, others in the means other students, that what are the you can say other areas in which my colleagues are working, what are the you can say then somebody who is lacking behind, he may also see that others are working so much, so I should also get motivated. So these were some of the you can say thought behind starting this initiative. And I can say it proudly that Professor Subbarao he initiated this idea, and we were just more on the implementing side. But now today, and a time came after 1 year and more than a year later, when the attendance started thinning down a little bit. So then we introduced another idea. No, I cannot say this was Professor Subbarao's idea. This was my idea, that we start providing chai and samosa in the seminar so that we can attract more students. Yes, it gave the desired benefits. And then we started charging 30 rupees from the students. So these were some of the initiatives which we started at that time. So I could still feel that he had many visions for the PhD students, and he used to interact with the PhD students continuously. And I can share many more experiences, but due to the paucity of time, I will limit myself up to this seminar only. And then, sir, thank you very much for all your valuable guidance, Mr. Subbarao, sir. And finally, I will again like to thank Mr. Subbarao for constituting this award, for motivating the students to perform high quality research. Thank you, Subbarao, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ali.
Thank you, Professor Anil. You have really reminded us about the goals of the department towards solving problems related to energy and environment. This is a crucial step, and Professor Subbarao definitely has laid the foundation for all of us that we are working in the department with so much liberty and freedom and focus on research. I was reminded when you were telling about the visionary approach of Professor Subbarao. I was thinking about some shairi. So I thought of Iqbal mentioning that हजारों साल नरगिस अपनी बेनूरी पर रोती है, हजारों साल नरगिस अपनी बेनूरी पे रोती है, बड़ी मुश्किल से होता है चमन में दीदावर पैदा, बड़ी मुश्किल से होता है चमन में दीदावर पैदा. So Professor Subbarao was one visionary which we find very rarely, and I must say that I'm still enjoying the samosa and chai after every seminar. So that was really visionary in all aspects to start a culture of listening to each other's research. Uh, During my graduate student days, I remember in the university the seminars were compulsory, even if it is not in your area. And that has opened up my mind that I can probably do interdisciplinary research from listening to others. And that is becoming more and more crucial. So whatever is started in Professor Subbarao's time is showing its colors today. So I have my second guest is Professor Shantanu Rao, our Dean Academics, who will explain to us how as an undergraduate student he has seen Professor Subbarao, and then later as a colleague, and then now as the Dean, seeing that this award is constituted during his time as under his mentorship as a dean. So from 1990s to till today, Professor Shantanu Rao can explain this journey of Professor Subbarao's research at IIT. Thank you, Professor Shantanu, for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Heather, and thanks, Professor Subbarao, for joining us today. Also, all the colleagues who have joined us, all the students. I think there are many of us I see in the list, like Professor Ratan Mohan, Professor Pant, of course, Professor Sarwa was there, Professor Vivek Bua. We have, kind of all being in some sense been mentored by Professor Subbarao. So obviously, it's great that he was kind enough to institute this award, which I think is a great example of mentorship. See, donor awards are always welcome, right? I mean, the institute has many donor awards. Unfortunately, we don't have so many in our department, but I think this is a great beginning. But it's even better that one of us, meaning the faculty of the department or ex-faculty and students, are setting up such an award. So this is a relatively new phenomenon, but this academic year, we have seen several awards set up in the institute across various departments by our own faculty who have superannuated or moved on to somewhere else. But it is very nice. This trend is very nice, and Professor Subbarao's award for our department is extremely welcome. Very well thought, and it's very timely. I mean, there are many experiences with Professor Subbarao, and I mean, it's been a really long journey. As Professor Heather said, we were undergraduate students when Professor Subbarao became head. And one thing which was extremely important for all of us was the mentoring that he provided. I mean, I do not know how many of you know that whether it is Dr. Vishwanathan, who set up a company called Particle Technology Consultants and has been involved in solving many solids flow problems in many units, both big companies in India as well as small, MSME type units. Was Professor Subbarao's student, was mentored by him in different capacities. Professor Devang Thakkar was Professor Subbarao's student, did his BTech project here. Of course, Dr. Sanjay Gambhir and others, many PhD students who have kind of walked those corridors with him. But I think most importantly, even undergraduate students like us who were not formally linked to him, like we were not doing our BTP with him necessarily, or we might be doing a course. But we always got a lot of advice from Professor Subbarao and also from other faculty of the time. But I think that has been very invaluable for many of us. I mean, for instance, I knew nothing about fluidization, of course. Like, I learned a little bit about it in one course, and then that was it pretty much. And then we did some experiments. But I remember that during our lab classes, which some of them Professor Subbarao took, he actually introduced many of us, those of you who care to listen, and those days there were a large number of students who care to listen, not quite like now. He would actually relate many real life examples which were beyond our typical lab experiments. See, lab experiments had a set pattern, right? You had to put in things, collect data, analyze, graph, make a graph, that kind of thing. But he would really give you a lot of different perspectives. And this was, at that time, I didn't realize the value of it so much. But nevertheless, he was such an interesting person that he kept us engaged. And we would listen to him, and he would tell us examples from cement industry or fluidization of some different kind of materials and all kinds of interesting things. Once he gave a lecture on why God is a chemical engineer, and he explained to us that every process that happens is actually a chemical engineering process. So it was very interesting engagement. Not all of it was curricular, right? So the point is that it was not always that he was referring to some book or some paper, but it was a lot of experience that was speaking. And this was very, very important for us. Later, when I went on from a PhD with no real, very clear plans that I wanted to work in one area or the other, I ended up working with a supervisor who was in multi-phase reactors area. And it was very interesting again that after about the first year we did courses in the PhD program, there was some research, but nothing very serious. But by the time the first year ended, you had to meet a supervisor, and the supervisor, my supervisor, gave me a bunch of papers, right? And he gave this big stack. Those days it was printed papers, right? I mean, not an online thing. And this big stack of papers, and I looked at the big bunch, already quite scared that look what I've got to do, and there was a bit of apprehension about working with a senior professor and so on. And lo and behold, the first paper on that was from Professor Subbarao, and the one at the very top. So I was kind of I felt comfortable that I wasn't in different domain. And the second paper happened to be from M. Sharma. That's another matter. But the first two papers were from India, and Professor Subbarao's paper was on the top. And of course, I didn't end up specifically working on that problem in the end. But the point is that what became apparent to me, and I heard this, by the way, I can share it today without any hesitation, that several of my professors in the university, Washington University, where I did my PhD, one of them, of course, knew Professor Subbarao personally, Professor Ramchandran, and the general view on the papers that he was publishing in those days, in 1980s, I'm talking about, the papers of 1980s, of course, I was doing this in maybe 94 or 95, was that I think several experts or very internationally renowned figures believe that Professor Subbarao's perspective on fluidization was very unique and very intuitive, right? I mean, somehow he knew what was happening, and that was very unique. We do a lot of CFD, do all kinds of calculations. At the end of it, we come up with some conclusion, which probably he can tell you without doing any of that. He almost make you feel foolish that why did you have to do all of this when frankly it's so obvious. And that was a unique quality, and I think somewhere subliminally I've learned to imbibe some of that, and I can clearly see that there was a lot of merit in that kind of intuitive understanding of multiphase reactors. Of course, later after I joined here as a faculty, also there was a lot of mentoring that we got from him. In fact, all of us in the 2004, 2005, 2006 time frame. Professor Subbaraou was, of course, he's finished his headship and he was very senior faculty, and he would help us and mentor us in many different ways. So all that continued. And what I find interesting is that even after he went to Malaysia, even after he finished his stint there, got back to Delhi, then eventually moved to Bangalore and so on, he still keeps his thumb on the latest research problems. And he would very often call you and say, give some idea on some paper he read or some new idea he had about, modeling some reactor in a different way. And I think that energy still is very, very endearing. It's still very, very personal also from one perspective, but also that, that keeps you kind of, alive. You might be doing the regular routine stuff, but then you hear from Professor Subbarao with some new perspective on things, and it is very, very nice. So I think I particularly want to highlight this aspect of his mentoring of younger people, younger students, younger faculty, all of us. And I think this award that he's setting up, again, in many of our earlier discussions, he has discussed this thing that, students, PhD students need to get more incentive, more kind of drive towards doing good research. Of course, he's also of the view that the supervisor also needs an incentive to keep producing high quality research. I think this award, and by the time it took its final shape, it is still really restricted to students. But having said that, I do know from past discussions with him that he always held PhD level research and keeping PhD students motivated as a very high priority. And that in some ways is coming forth through this award that he is setting up. I think this will be the first year, this year's convocation, the first year we'll be declaring the first round of selection. So selection is yet to happen, but it is something which is on the cards. And I think over a period of time, two things this will allow. One, of course, is that this award will of course stay, because there's a corpus for it, and the award money will come from the interest and all that. But aside from that, I think this is also a great beginning for other such recognitions and awards. Not everything doesn't need to be an award, right? Something could be a scholarship, something could be a top-up scholarship. There can be different kind of incentives, even maybe from girl students. I mean, there are all kinds of ways in which students can be kept engaged and motivated. And I think that trend, somebody needed to break the ice. I think in our department, we've not had too many such examples, which are kind of specific to our department. Now that this has happened, I think it's a great beginning, and I'm sure there'll be many more. And I'm also quite positive that Professor Subbarao, and in fact several of our superannuated faculty would continue to engage with the department in many ways. Not everything is awards and scholarships is one thing, but I'm sure there are other ways, and we can kind of learn from them, keep them engaged, and so on. So I'd like to kind of end my remarks with thanking Professor Subbarao again, and of course, happy to be part of this whole process. Of course, this was fantastic that this happened, and I'm glad that in some little way I could kind of enable this at an administrative level. But finally this has happened, so this is very, very good, and we are having a little celebration about this. So thank you, Professor Haider. Thank you, Professor Subbarao, and of course we look forward to hearing from you, and also maybe from some of our other colleagues, who are present. Of course, Sanjay has a presentation after this, I believe, but we'll move on from there. Thank you, Professor Haider.
Thank you, Professor Shantanu. This is really enlightening about Professor Subbarao's work and his legacy here. What it reminds me that sometimes you go to the new doctors today and they have so many tests like blood tests and this and that. And the older ones know what exactly is required, and sometimes they will see your pulse and they'll tell you what you need to do. So the experience matters a lot, and we all respect that, and very much in Professor Subbarao's way of working here, that you reminded us how experience counts actually. And especially in chemical engineering, we think we know all the formulas, but when you need to apply them, that really matters. I think we have a very important presentation by Dr. Sanjay on what it takes to work as a PhD student. And Dr. Sanjay is a student of Professor Subbarao, and that's slightly informative for all the PhD students to stay with us. But before that, I would request any faculty member, Professor Pant or Professor Ratan Mohan, or anyone who would like to share, Professor Vivek Dua, please feel free to switch on your microphone and share, because it's an informal session. Please feel free to open up your microphone and say a few words. Or any student who feels very happy to see this award and would like to share anything, feel free to open it up or raise your hands, and we would be happy to have you. Let us know if you want to speak few words. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Haider, I would just like to add, maybe take a couple of minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you very much for allowing me to speak. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Subbarao for really constituting this award. And I think it is a great support or great encouragement that he's providing to the PhD students, encouraging high quality doctoral research. So thank you very much, Professor Subbarao. My interactions with Professor Subbarao started in 2005 a year before I joined IIT Delhi. And of course, in 2005, I made a visit to IIT Delhi just to see things and also gave a talk. And that is the time when Professor Subbarao and I had our first encounter. And of course, I was encountered. I really, needless to say that I was encountered, and that discussion was about bubble formation. But he knew so much about what I was doing. He was referring to the literature and so on. And since then, I mean, I really am excited to see his passion for research. Every year he comes to the department and he talks about the development, about his own research, and not only about his own research, he would also know what you have published in last 1 year, and he will refer that, look, I read your so and so publication, and so publication you have done so and so. Normally you tend to forget what you have done, but then he will remind you that how is this done, or I would like to see that experiment or meet that student, etc. So it is really overwhelming to see that excitement in research even after his retirement. And I hope that even if a part of that is instilled by the award winner, I think it will be a great return to Subbarao. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Vivek. This is really, you reminded me that I also met Professor Subbarao often in the tea room, and he will ask me about my research, which is seldom happens that way. And he will ask me how you are calculating your rate constants, and are you doing it correctly, and why are you doing this way or that way. And that really kept me involved in thinking about kinetics in a different aspects. So that's really like somebody at the age of 70, if he's really involved. One of the scholars I met, he told me, if you want to really test a research scholar, you see him at the age of 70, and if he's really involved in what he did in his life, then he has really successfully lived his life. So Professor Subbarao is one example which I saw that he is involved even at this later age. He's not whatever he did in his life, he's really excited about doing this even at his later age. So that is really a sign. I'm really excited that Professor Pant is here, who really worked hard in doing all the administrative work in constituting this award. He's now a dean faculty, but most of the work while he was a head was done, all the communication and efforts. So I really appreciate his efforts in bringing this award to the department. And we all cherish this now, that first time we have an award for our own PhD students by our own ex-faculty members. So Professor Pant, please enlighten us about Professor Subbarao's work and how you thought about this award together and how it was constituted. Thank you.
No, I'll not take much time. So thank you, Professor Haider, and thank you, Professor Sarwa, for initiating this activity. And definitely, we all of us have learned many things through Professor Subbarao, his experience, his knowledge. And now I think he will always be remembered, right, from this award which he has instituted for the research scholars. And this is a kind of motivation I think all of us should do after our superannuation, and which will encourage the youngsters, right, in future. And he definitely, I like the word that this award is for the student, not the faculty. So in fact, when he just instituted, we had a long discussions on the mode of action and how the award will be instituted. He said that the award money should go, total award money should be given to the student only, and that's a very encouraging words for the students what he did that. So my interaction with Professor Subbarao, since 1999 when I joined, and definitely all of us know that he never leave anybody when he caught near the corridor, and then it means you will gain many things from him, not only on the educational side but also on the professional, the institute, about the institute. So he is I think a very learned person and thorough gentleman, in total very soft spoken, but he will never make you encourage your word. That's what I learned it through his research, because if you give him some kind of calculation, your paper, he will always criticize that, and that's a good way when a teacher does the things with the student or scholar, that he motivates the others to think in other direction also. So you have given some thoughts and suppose given a paper, and he will read that paper, he will just go through the quality, what content, then he will say you have not done this thing, that that thing, if you do this, then that's a good way, right? Especially for all the youngsters, right? In what direction, because there are multiple ways of solving a problem, and he did. And I observed that his depth of knowledge, especially on the reaction engineering, fluidization, right? He will, if you just go to his office and ask something, he will immediately stand up, go to the board and start writing, right? And everything will be the extempore, right? The equation, long equations he could write on fluidization, right? The different aspects of this, right? What you call the Kuhn-Levi model or chart, Goddard chart. So because he has done the work on this soft materials, lot of right granulated materials, and then grains also, right? The kind of work he did, right? Definitely marvelous. And then later on, he moved to Petronas or Malaysia. And even then, he was in touch with all the faculty members. And after return also, right, he used to be there in the right department and used to discuss a lot with all the faculty members, share his thoughts, share his knowledge. And finally, even the last month when I was talking about this award, then he told me that he's writing a book, right, on reaction engineering, and especially it is not for a kind of business purpose. He was trying to write what he told me, that he wants to, he has a lot of notes, or his students have shared the notes to him, right, those who have taught before, and now they are asking him to write or compile all these whatever the notes the students have given. So probably I'm waiting for that book also, or the notes what Professor Subbarao is writing, because definitely I'm sure that that will be helpful to all the the chemical engineering community. So thank you, Professor Subbarao, and thank you everyone, those who are here, right? I'm sure that Professor Subbarao will always support the department through his knowledge, and we should invite him off and on to deliver a professional talk also. I'm sure that soon I think he will be in our department and will interact with our scholars and faculty members physically also. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Haider and all others.
Thank you, Professor Pant. Really, the efforts all in the background, which are now showing the colors, is amazing to see that this is this has been started in this year itself, while we were all struggling with COVID and phase 1, phase 2, but we could do it. And the last date is 15th of October. So I want to remind you all, those who are here, please remind all the senior students as well who passed in 2020-21, PhD students, to apply. The link is there in the email I sent, and please apply. If you are not aware of the link, please send me an email and I'll respond back with the link. And we are looking forward for good number of applications to review, and Professor Subbarao himself has agreed that he will judge the applications, and he will pay from his own pockets this year, because there is no the funding has not accrued any interest. So he is going to pay from his own pocket at such an old age. He's so enthusiastic about supporting PhD students. It's amazing. I must also say that a professor is always represented by his student. Okay, so we have one of the student of Professor Subbarao, Dr. Sanjay Gambhir, who is now a president of a company, and he has worked with Professor Subbarao and he knows him really well. So he's representing his style and way of presentation and all the learnings. And I can see that how much respect he has even today for his advisor. This is so amazing that the moment he heard that this award is constituted, he's working with me on the behind that it should be presented this way, or the poster has to be this way, or the colors. So much dedication that it should be to the liking of the advisor. And that shows the real, I would call it Guru and Shishya Parampara, which our department has so much love and affection and respect for the advisors. And that shows how Professor Subbarao was as an advisor, that the student, even after so many years of passing out, remembers him. And Dr. Sanjay did PhD, I heard, with Professor Anil. So at the same time, when both were the PhD students and different advisors, they know each other also very well. So I'm really excited to host this presentation and invite Dr. Sanjay Gambhir to please give us more insight about what is the message of Professor Subbarao to our PhD student, and also your views as an alumni of this department, as a PhD student. how you see what are the career opportunities in chemical engineering, how to stay focused on research, all of these things which we want to hear about and understand from your experience and from the message of Professor Subbarao. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay, for joining us.
Yeah, very good evening, everybody. I think a lot is already said about Professor Subbarao, and I think even if I keep talking about Professor Subbarao, it's going to take hours and hours, as Professor Subbarao used to, teach us. So let me, I don't know from where to start, but my association with Professor Subbarao was fantastic because it changed my life. The way he used to explain, very well said by Professor Shantanu, it was so simple, and that is what I sometimes say that some of the people who tells yeah things are very simple, then people don't appreciate them. Most of the people in the industry, I have spent 20 years in energy, and now I'm into infrastructure, almost working across all sectors. You talk about energy, healthcare, you talk about data center, IT. I'm involved almost in all the sectors. Whenever you go to any CEO or you go for any discussion, the moment you say things are simple, they don't appreciate. This is a strange point in our life that people don't like simple things. But the way Professor Subbarao used to talk with me and say, Sanjay, it is so simple. It is very simple. Why are you making it so complicated? So this is how he used to, talk with me, and then I understand the pain anybody undergo when they join PhD. It's not easy. Just to say one line, we used to say, क्यों हमें मौत के पैगाम दिए जाते हैं, ये सजा कम तो नहीं कीजिए जाते हैं. तो आपने PhD ज्वाइन कर लिया means it's like a you are taking something which will take you where actually you don't know. Because when you do graduation, you do post graduation, you know that after 4 years you will do something, or maybe after post graduation you will do something. But when you get into PhD, you don't know where will you go, and during that period, if your supervisor, your advisor is not by your side, it could be a disaster. And that is where I appreciate Professor Subbarao. Sometimes I was also not able to concentrate because things were not moving, and he used to stand by my side and say, no, Sanjay, don't worry, you do like this, you do like this, because so many things are there on platter, that how to compile a thesis, how to write a paper, everything is a challenge. And why do we do all this? Maybe there could be only two reasons which I see. It could be a passion of a person who wants to do PhD because I want to do PhD, I want to do research. That could be one thing. But end of the day, what all matters is the job. If after doing PhD you don't get the right job, then you feel really bad. And that is where when you were telling that that why I got so excited. I have never lost a link with Professor Subbarao during last 20 years also. The reason is very clear, because advisor, and he's not a guide only. He's a mentor who can make your life, who actually made my life. The way I used to see something, he changed my perception, and that perception I'm carrying in the industry. So and the other part, the simplicity. When I was talking with Dr. Heather that you have received a message from Professor Subbarao, would you like to change the presentation? I said no, I don't want to change it, because I am in the corporate. My way of presentation is very flimsy, and put nice colors, nice pictures, and nice photographs, and maybe everything looks good, but maybe there is no content. But now I will share the screen just to start with this original, I will say if Dr. Subbarao has written, I cannot add any value to that. I can only paint some good color, or I can add some pictures, but it will dilute the color, so I didn't change it. Except the first page where he called me on the last night to change it to Surya. I hope everybody can see my screen. If anybody can confirm.
Yes.
Yeah. So I change only the top part, which he said that he wants to write Surya. See, this is how his thought process is. You know, his thought process is like all of you researchers, but very simple, very simple. And I respect the research community from my heart, because that is where I could reach wherever I am because of that community. So see, he wrote something. He was not Dr. Heather is aware of what was written at the top. So, but it kept on bothering him. It is not making sense. And suddenly, day before yesterday, he called me when I was trying to talk to him on team, because he is not used to all these online. We are every day online. Even just before this also, I was in another meeting. So every day from morning 7 to 12, I am online. So I just thought, let me try to bring him online. So he came online, and today also he came. It's an honor. So I'm sure Professor Heather will be able to appreciate that his mind was still working on that title. It's not making sense. So finally, it has come as Surya. So this is how he used to think that time also. Actually, I was working on hydrodynamics of fluidization, and suddenly I will have a discussion. Then suddenly one fine day he will simply pull me in his room and say, no, you can think like this, and then it was giving me a good direction. So this is what is Professor Subbarao. Very simple, but the content is, I think, even a book of 500 pages cannot cover his 16 slides here. So I will not go too much into the details, but I will appreciate if everybody can just think, sometime in, I have been giving a lot of lectures on management. A very simple thing is, it is not always important to be a leader. It is, and that is what he has written. And I learned it from him. To become a leader, you have to be a follower first. That's very important. So this is what is Professor Subbarao. Simple, very simple. You see this slide. I'm sure Professor Heather will share his, I will say, this treasure to everybody, and everybody should, evaluate each and every line. We cannot spend too much time on this, but very simple, there can be shortcuts in life, in a simple way we say. There can be, we can take shortcuts and then reach, but there is no alternative to hard work and honesty. That is what is the message here. Very important. If you want to do PhD, concentrate on PhD and finish it off and move to the next level. And just to tell people, as you mentioned that I should put little emphasis on jobs. I will tell everybody in this room, including the faculty, to communicate to the research communities, including BTech, MTechs. If you have an innovation, if you have innovative mind, and if you want to change something in the industry, or if you want to contribute to the technology, there are immense possibilities. There is no limit to that. Professor Dr. Saroha also talked about latest hydrogen and all. You will be surprised to know, even everybody will wait that when 10 megawatt can be generated from a fuel cell. But there are hydrogen fuel cell. But there are applications where you don't need 10 megawatt. You need only maybe 500 watt or maybe 1 kilowatt. Use it there. That's important. So I was working on one of the project on hydrogen also with one company. They want only small application. They are not looking for 100 megawatt immediately. So maybe 500 kilowatt, maybe 1 kilowatt is sufficient. So this is what is the message from Professor Subbarao, and he wants, if he has constituted this award, people should work to excel to win this award. It will mean a lot. It will mean a lot to him. This is what he taught me also. When I was going through, I have already gone through these slides, I think more than 10 times when he sent to me, and I thought I will change something, but I could not actually change the content. I could have polished it, got the better resolution here, but this is what is Professor Subbarao. Every morning you should talk. This is what people say every time now when you go into depression. I'm the best. I can do it. God is always with me. I'm a winner. Today is my day. And every day should be our day. Now after COVID, I think we should say that every day is my day. When you want to sleep in the night, you should sleep coolly. And if you want to get up in the night at 3 o'clock and want to watch TV or a movie, or you want to read a book, do it, because that's your time. You can do it. And many of us will be able to appreciate and understand that sometimes we don't have time for our own passion and interest. That is a very challenge. This is how the life has taught us. And during the COVID period, many people would have actually felt it who could not actually realize those realities of the life. This is what is his understanding of supervisor. Who can think like this about a supervisor? Only he can think, because he was of that kind. He was always thinking about student, as Anil also, Dr. Saroha also mentioned that he used to talk to us, and even to the undergraduate students, because somebody will talk if very innocently, very elegantly, and without any interest, only if he is the way he is expecting any supervisor to be. So I'm sure for me, it is important, because I'm handling big teams, 200, 300 people working with me. And this is for me also, not only for a supervisor. How I treat people around me, how I motivate people around me, then only they will deliver. Then only they can excel. That is what is the key message of Professor Subbarao here. Research, this is very nicely written, that how somebody should do a research and how he should complete the work, a PhD work. But when I saw this slide, there was a question when I joined industry. See, somehow I did not join academic. I got job into a corporate, Siemens, and I joined that. And luckily, it so happened that in Germany, the research is always, given a lot of due importance. And when I went over there also on behalf of companies, I visited almost many countries. And when I went there, there was a difference. The first question, there are not many people in the corporate with the PhD. So there was a very simple question to me that, why did you join? Why did you do your PhD? Your PhD is, you have done research and you have come to corporate, and you are into. Of course, I was into technical things only. But now, why didn't you join academics? Why didn't you join a research institute? What research will teach us? Very simple. It will teach us that how to do things systematically. That is what we do in industry also. If somebody is working on something, even on a simple problem, they know how to collect the data, how to analyze that data, and how to improve that to make a solution, is what research teaches us. And that is the answer which I gave to my MD at that time. He was in one of the conference, and he was surprised, because this is what was taught to me by Professor Subbarao. So this is what is research. So some of the people who are my message here to some of the people here is that, if they are thinking PhD has a very limited scope of going into the industry or to the research or to anywhere, please do not get into that. If you have done the right work, if you have done the right research, that research is appreciated in the industry. So there is no doubt about that. That is what he says. Do a perfect literature survey. And I will, very important point which he says, you need to do better than the best to become valuable in 5 years to get a job. Because that is important. If you do the literature review, and I can tell you, a person who has spent sufficient time on literature review, on the experiments, and on the thesis writing, there is nobody other than him knowing better about that particular topic. Nobody else can tell anything better than him. So rest assured, if you put sufficient effort and you have done justice to your PhD, you know the best. Nobody else can explain you better than you. That's very important. Again, because he was contributing a lot to his students. So his expectation is always, that supervisors should add, and students should feel to go to the supervisor and ask questions and ask for support. Okay, and that's very important. I think all the PhD students or anybody who has undergone the PhD, the first year is very, very, very challenging. It's like you get in first is very challenging to get a PhD, admission into PhD. Then you get into PhD, and then first year you get confused what to do. It's not like that you do some courses and you pass and then you will get the PhD. No, the first year is very important time. So that time, continuous interaction between the supervisor, as he was also giving to me, is very important. But at the same time, he used to ban me also. Like, go to lab, because that time Google, Science Direct and all those things were not there. So he told me very clearly, go to library and get all the papers, and I did it. And I took all Xerox, contingency मिलता था. आज की डेट में तो फिर भी वो बहुत ज्यादा लगता है, लेकिन there was a contingency and I used it, and I Xerox each and every paper, bought box files as he instructed, and I followed him, and I did. And still, I know when we submitted the thesis, we missed one paper, and on that there was a lot of controversy. We had that's another story that I will tell later. So this is what, very important. Discussion, continuous discussion. Only supervisor knows all the topics. Even if we sit in the library for 1 year and we do not discuss with the supervisor, maybe we'll go into a direction which is already explored by somebody else, and then at the end of the second year, you will come to know, oh, this topic is to be changed now. It happens with some of the people. Luckily, it did not happen with me. Rather, even in the last year, he gave me 1 month to almost 6 months to work on mass transfer, and that became one of the best paper. And I really loved it. Although that time I was thinking, why is he telling me? And today, when I recall, that was the best paper, and that was done in 6 months. And that time I actually started writing the thesis, but I followed him, and it worked well. Patents, of course, I was not, into this that time, and that time the information was not available, and so much of internet was not there. So that's very important message from him. If you think something can be patented, please do not publish it. Discuss with the people around and with your supervisor, and try to patent it. Do not publish it. That's very important message, because you may be thinking your work is not worth anything, but it is. So never during your PhD work you think that your work is not worth anything. That's very important. That's an activity many of us try to skip, because you have to go a little extra mile to get into this, attending seminars. And trust me, I've been, even after joining my job, I was attending many seminars and conferences, and that gave me confidence. And there was a time, 2015 to 18, I was being invited to many conferences and seminars, although I was not even able to go. So you will be given, if you give respect to the knowledge coming from others will also give respect the knowledge which you have. That's very important. So please broaden your knowledge base. It so happens when you go for a seminar, it so happens that if suppose you're working on a particular topic, it can have an application which is not available in the market. So that may give you an idea. So please do keep attending seminars, and of course there are many fundings available. Put effort. Sometimes people may be thinking, you just want to go there for lunch or dinner. Don't mind it. Okay, have good lunch and dinner also. Go to overseas seminars also. If you are getting good funding from DST or CSIR, let people think you just want to fly. That's okay. You want to fly. That is what is your intention. You want to be successful. So don't think what people are telling. Apply for DST scholarship funding. Apply for CSIR. There's so much of money. Apply for DBT. So much money is available. I was working with my Korean boss long back, and he came to India, and we were in Chennai. What did he say? The population of India is 1.3 crore, 1.3 billion. What is that? It means if you do any work here in this country, it has a huge application. So you can make a lot of money if money is only your interest. You have to only make good application. You may have to make only one good product, That's more than sufficient. There are countries where you go to Europe or you go to Asia Pacific areas, you go to Oriental side, you go to South Asia, you go anywhere. The countries are very small. Even if they make something, they don't have the market. So in India, if you make a small thing also, it has a huge market and a good application, but you have to come out with some product. Yeah, this is how he says you can be the star in the years to come. Nobody knows what is there in the future. Past we always script, including me sometimes. Okay, we always say the past has not given anything to us. Maybe the institute has not given anything to us, or maybe the supervisor has not given. Maybe sometimes the parents or the brothers. We always script, but the future, that's important. For that only we all are struggling. So enjoy your present and try to make yourself the best, so that you shine and you become a star. Very simple. See, that is the simplicity. Just dream, just think and work. I think no complicated jargon. No, I don't think anybody needs a management book or a CEO write up to understand this. This is simple. This is simple, very simple, and will assure you. I can tell you, there is no alternative to hard work. There is no alternative to, if you don't think, you don't dream, I don't think you can reach anywhere. So do it and continue to do so. Now, here in the rest of the slides, he tells very clearly, he has a message for all the research scholars, how to plan your work. That is how to do your experimentation, how to do. His even pressure to me was that you should complete in 3 years. I took 5 years. Of course, I was involved in many other extracurricular activities also, and he appreciated that also. But he was always telling a PhD is worth a PhD if it can be completed in 3 years, max 4 years. 5 years is bad. Okay, so this is what was his message, and he tells how to do it. Always when you're working, you have done your literature review, continue to publish paper. We always we are little lazy on putting a little extra effort to make things systematic and then publish them. Although sometimes it so happen, later on I realized that I did so much of work, but I published less, because when you yourself is involved, then you are not able to appreciate that how much work actually you have done. But when I started compiling, then I understood that I have done a lot of work. And Professor Subbarao was continuously telling me, you should do this, you should publish one paper like this. And I was telling, sir, abhi to kaam pura hua nahi hai. So his answer, I remember, kaam kabhi pura nahi hota hai, but you have done a lot of work. So publish it. And some of my results were published later on by Professor Subbarao and are well accepted in the research community. I am still thankful to him on that. That's a very clear message, from him, is that, excellence. You have to be excellent. You should put your best effort to do your best. And maybe that is not the best for rest of the people, but that is your best. So you have to give your best. And that's why in the chat box, I liked one of his very, regular statement, continuously, because I was interacting with him. So he used to share with me a very simple statement. You cannot do what you cannot do. So whatever you can do that better. So I used to say, sir, this is not happening, that is not happening. When I'm plotting graphs, it is the trend, 5 parameters are giving the right trend, the 6th is not giving. So he used to tell me very simply, so you cannot do everything. You have to do something, and you have to stop somewhere. That is important. And this is, I think, I would say that every peer, if I had been given that time, of course I learned it on his with him. and my extracurricular activities were keeping me, I was, in best secretary also, institute, the best institute secretary, and then sports and everything I was getting into. So he used to say, Sanjay, why do you do so many things? You finish your PhD and go. I said, no, that is what is my another passion, because I was a very sports lover, gym going person. So I used to enjoy that also. So that is what the path is, I'm sure, if this is available to the people in our department, and if they plan in such a way, what is major thing missing in BTech, so many years, so many credits, so many CGPAs you pass. In MTech, so many, semesters, so many courses, you finish, you get your CGPA, you pass. But PhD is little, nobody is there to schedule it for you. But Professor Subbarao is there to schedule for all of us. So a single slide tells you how you should finish your PhD in 3 years. What you should do in first year, what you should do in second year, very simple way. And, start writing thesis in third year, first year, very important review paper. Review paper is to be written in the first year itself. That's his message. And then, because once you have finished your review and you have published, then you are at par with the research available in the industry, research available in the institutes. You are at par. Then you can move forward from there. And very important point, he always says, he was not only interested in modeling, experimentation. You have to do the modeling part, you should do the experimentation part. And what I did a lot of experimentation during that time, pretty big setup I made. And luckily I could get funding also that time. It was pretty costly, and he was head of the department, so little advantage to me sometimes. Okay. Yes, be a winner, publish paper, and patents. Sometimes, again, I'm repeating this point. Sometimes you may be thinking your work is not worth publishing or worth patenting. Never think like that, because even during my industry also, many a times we have come across a situation, then we do something, and later on, after 1 year, we come to know nobody else actually did that. So this is where I request all the faculty members also to push and to give direction to the research scholars, so that they can publish, they can patent whatever is available. Otherwise, they will lose on those credits over a period of time. So his statement is, you have to be a follower to be the leader. So you should follow your passion. You should follow some of your advisor, your supervisor, and the people who are doing good. There is nothing bad in acknowledging good work of others. That is because, then you learn from their experience. Otherwise, you have to go through that experience to learn that part. So why do you want to follow? Why do you want to suffer? Others have already suffered and they are ready to share their experiences. Please take it free of cost. But for that, you have to have open ears. You should keep it open. That's important. And I think this is last but not the least slide, I would say. And I don't want to keep talking on this. I think let me stop here and thank again Professor Subbarao for guiding me and giving me live, real-time experiences before actually I could have experienced them. So thank you very much. Over to Professor Heather, and thanks all for listening and bearing with me.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay. Really appreciate your kind words, and this has been really informative. You really added all of these slides with so much experience. I just felt that I should upload this recording on YouTube or somewhere, so that it is there for our students. This message is always there. This has been really, like I teach a class on technical communication. I try to explain how to sync with your advisor, to understand what you need to do and stuff. And you really represent that example for all of us and all the PhD students who have joined here, that how to sync with your advisor to bring the best from research. whatever you are doing in this department in chemical engineering in IIT Delhi. Your contributions are really immense, and your advisor's contribution, you truly represent him, and the way you have presented is amazing. So I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. That thank you very much for coming and presenting this. I understand Professor Subbarao is not able to do it properly with this new online medium, and you have really helped us a lot in bringing this message in a very thoughtful way. Thank you very much. I thank again for our department chair, our Dean Academics for joining, Professor Pant, our Dean Faculty joining here, and Professor Vivek who presented his thought, all the faculty members who are here, Professor Mohan, Professor Ratan Mohan who was with Professor Subbarao for a long time here, Professor Somnath Ghosh, and all the students who have joined and listening to this. It is beyond my expectation. This has been really informative in that sense. Thank you all for joining, and I really appreciate your time and efforts in bringing this all together. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And I'll try to put up the recording online so that you can share it with your friends. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Heather.
Thank you. Thank you very much.